these 4 O-rings here. So really, I'm not going to go into that because that's really not something that needs to be done all the time. But basically what you're going to do is just take a little bit of lube, put it on your fingers, and you're going to actually smear it around all 4 of these O-rings. Okay, I'm also going to take off the front grip that holds the inline regulator. There is a metric Allen head that's deep inside of this, so you're going to take one of your wrenches and you're actually just going to break it free. And this is also how you need to take this off so you actually can change the eyes, which I'm going to transition into next. Okay, when you take this off, there is a screw that sits up inside of it. There's also a rubber gasket, and you need to make sure that you don't lose this. You need to make sure you don't lose this rubber gasket. Just push it back down in there and just set it aside. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to take the eye covers off, and I'm going to remove the eyes. There is a Allen head screw that is on the right side as you're looking down the marker that you need to pull this off. This is what actually holds the exhaust valve stem in place. Then what you're going to do, and this is kind of takes a little bit of force, but you're going to take a pick or something, and you're going to push on both sides, and this plastic plate is going to pop off. I can get it out of there. The plastic plate is going to pop off. This is also how you actually change the ball detents. The ball detents are pretty neat the way that Angel has made them. They have two things. It's a really extended piece of like rubber nubbin, but also has a little bump on the front, and that's a guide so that you know which way to put this in. The nubbin, that's the bump that's on it, goes towards the front of the gun. So I'm going to remove those. And now I'm going to remove the eye wires. You need to be very careful with the eye wires. This is a rainbow ribbon. If you crimp them or damage it, you're not going to have eye function. Angel's done a very good job of actually putting this in here. There's actually a nice channel for it in here, a nice channel that goes all the way through here. So I'm going to remove the eye wires one at a time, and I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to go ahead and actually not put some of this back together because I'm going to take apart the back, I'm going to take apart the ram, and I'm going to pull the LPR out, and I'm going to show you how to take the valve out. And then once I have done that, I'm going to reassemble it from this point. Alright, so just set everything aside. Just make sure you're putting all of your screws and parts inside your little tray, that way you don't lose anything. Okay, the next thing that I like to do is actually, because I'm going to take the LPR apart, first thing I'm going to do is pull the exhaust valve out, and I'm going to set this in the tray also. Now I'm going to take the Allen wrench, I'm going to take the back plate off. Again, I said, don't rush on this. This is a lot of little parts now. And I'm going to take that screw, I'm going to actually take it out, put it in the tray, put the actual back plate to the side. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is actually I'm going to take the housing for the solenoid off. There's an Allen wrench that you sit down the top, you break it free. It's kind of hard the first time you do this, but after you've done it a couple of times, it slides a lot easier. And you're just going to push just a little bit, and you're going to push. Okay, this housing actually holds a solenoid. The solenoid actually doesn't have any screws in it. So what you're going to do is, since I've got the grip off, and to take the LPR out, I found that you need to take the solenoid wire out first. I don't know because everyone's got their own way of doing it. This is the way I found that works best, so that I don't damage any of the wires and stuff. So I'm just going to pop this out, and then I'm going to very gently fish this eye wire through that. So now I've got the solenoid completely out, and I'm going to set it aside. Okay, from now we're going to take the back plate off for the LPR. And I'm going to clean. There is an O-ring on that, so that when we put it back together, we're going to put a little bit of lube back on it and put it back in there. Angel has a thing that when they are putting their guns back together and stuff, they have a lot of O-rings and stuff. What they have told us in the past is actually on the non-moving parts, use a thicker grease. On the moving parts, you use not a thick grease. A lot of times people do this, but they also, if you don't have any other, like a thicker grease or whatnot, you can use the same stuff. You just might have to use a little bit more. So now I've got that. Now I'm going to use the other extracting tool that Angel actually provided. This goes into you screw this down into the LPR, and 3 or 4 times, and then you're going to pull it out. Be careful, actually pull it this way, so that when you pull it out, the shim stack, which are the bell springs, you guys can see right here, there's a certain way that these are supposed to go. They need to go back in the same way. Then the next part, they've got these pins in here, and these pins actually hold the valve, the LPR, and the ram in place. What I like to do is actually just take them out, and just take them all out at once. They're all the same size, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. Now basically I've got the valve, or the LPR is actually free, and so I'm going to push, I use a pick very gently to pull out the rest of the shims, and then this brass piece here. Okay. Now after you get that little piece out, it's pretty easy to get the rest of this out. I very gently use a pick to actually push this out. And if it's properly lubed, it should slide pretty easy, but you do want to make sure that you don't damage or mar this up. And then what you need to do is, when you take it out, wipe it down and check get a little grease, and re-grease the O-ring on the top. So basically the stack looks like this. You've got the main body, you've got the little spool, and then you've got the shims, and then you've got your bell springs, and then you've got the back piece that has the O-ring. So this basically is the LPR. And the shims, the number of shims, is what actually changes the operating pressure of the gun. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. We are going to reassemble that in just a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the ram out.